Hi everyone, good morning. Thank you very much joining me this fine Saturday morning. It's snowy Toronto here, and I believe you guys over there quite a lot of snow as well. Yeah, I enjoy the topic. As Tavio mentioned that I am doing project management officially. It's about 25 years. Not that I'm old or anything, as you know, like, but just time is passing. I think I have an IT background, and but I like to talk too much. That's why it wasn't for me to just sit and program. And they noticed that early in stage, and I was jumping all around. That's why I noticed that project management is good for me. But it's evolved. It's quite evolved, and that's why I involve. I start to share my knowledge, and I'm happy. And yes, global conference. I loved there. It was a great event, and it seems they liked the presentation. Now, this is a webinar. That's why it is a little bit, you will hear me talking more. But feel free to put your, as Tavia mentioned, your comments and I will pause and I will try to go slow. Okay. Normally I speak a little bit fast, and now we'll take it slowly. And I will explain why I choose this topic and where are we. But it is Saturday morning, okay? Let's go with it. What is the problem here? All right. Now, I know you cannot shout out like in class, but I hear that, you might be saying, oh, the glass is half full, glass is half empty, depends on the personality. And, or you see, this is as big as it needs to be, or, twice as big as it needs to be, or you may say, bunch of other. And I like this guy who drank the other half, always blamed to someone else, what is wrong here? And actually, what I am asking, we don't know what we are trying to solve here. And actually, this is the problem. Because I didn't explain to you what was the scope, what was the requirement. I just asked what is the problem here. But if you are working on projects, or actually it's in operation, any environment, or in a classroom, you will have some people is jumping and telling what is the problem without even sometimes is asked. But this is actually the issue. Without understanding and resolving the problem correctly. And we are creating more mass, more cost than what we can expect. And believe me, we have lots of data to prove this theory. I believe it's not theory anymore. It's actually a fact now. So let's start. You guys remember, NASA. That they sent to the orbiter to the Mars and so on.
Right.
It is interesting issue they had over there. Because according to NASA's investigation report, it said it's an engineering error. Primary cause of this, the Mars climate orbiter's failure, which expected to measure the climate in Mars. You know what was the failure? Actually, poor communication. And how it is? The error was a metric mishap. Because the flight system software on the orbiter took thrust instruction using the metric unit, newtons, while the software on the ground that generated those instructions used the imperial measure, pound force. That created a huge problem, as you can imagine. But this kind of like simple things you may think, the effects and impact, of course, will be huge, that it causes us a bunch of problems. That's why complex problem solving become important. Because remember, to succeed, projects and programs require thousands of things to go right. Remember your, the plan, task list, and so on. But to fail, only one thing needs to go wrong. This is a huge. I would like to remember this always, okay? And then according to the PMI's research published on the Pulse of the Profession 2018 version, actually identified for the problem solving. They said that 10% of every dollar is wasted due to poor project performance and due to not able to resolve the project's problem. 10%. I mean, think about it. Overall project management we are looking. That is 100 million for every 1 billion invested. That's why one of the reasons, if not the major reason, projects are failing. We believe because we project managers do not know how to handle problems. We are spending too much money on working on the wrong problems, not able to identify the real cause, going on circles, repeating the same mistakes over and over again. And most of the time, because there is a problem, we have to find a solution. We don't have time to stop and think. Because emergency situation, we start running around in panic mode and jump on the first solution we can think or advise, hoping it will fix the problem. You see, you might be lucky to resolve, one of the problems like that once in a while, or maybe second time in a row. But believe me, not the third time. It is better to test a couple methods and keep the one works for you in your pocket in case of emergencies. And today, we are going to talk about it. Okay. Why I choose this topic? Because we are on the brink of technological revolution, which expected that it will fundamentally alter the way we live, work, and relate to one another. We do not know just how it will unfold, but certain things is clear. Technological innovation will lead the change, with long-term gains in efficiency and productivity. According to the World Economic Forum's The Future of Jobs Report 2018, just small note that actually if you go to their website, you can download this report. It's available to everyone. And then they produced the 2019, of course, and so on. Okay. Project management, actually, they said, is one of the occupations that will diminish in the future because of the technological innovations, such as artificial intelligence. I know you are all shocked. No. This is not the end. It's just what they are saying, majority of the tasks. Because artificial intelligence is changing the workforce. You know that. Activities and tasks are becoming more digital, diverse, and automation savvy. You see, think about if we automate all monitoring and controlling tasks, have very intelligent costing and planning tools, based on the history and given configuration, it will draft you the plan. But currently we have teams, we have project controls, project admins, project leads, project scheduler, the risk analyst, and so. Do we need all these people? When we have the very usable data and the artificial intelligence tools and so. Of course, this is their starting point. They are not pinpointing to project managers, because they are also predicting that accountants and auditors will lose their jobs because artificial intelligence will replace those tasks. That's why they are looking from the task perspective. If it can be automated, will be automated. But again, not everyone will lose the job. Depends on what we are doing. In the end, it all comes down to people and their knowledge and skills. Because the same report also predicted that the complex problem-solving skills would be in demand, along with other niche skills, critical thinking and analysis, emotional intelligence, reasoning, ideation, leadership, and social influence. And just a sub-note here, according to another research, today's students will be working different jobs beyond 2030. Which is not invented yet. This is kind of also scary, but also if you look at it, 30 years ago, we didn't have any of this. There are new jobs right now. Do you have the audio, video, admins, coordinators, or the some people working on the go-to meeting that we didn't have it. But that's why today's our objective to demonstrate to you how to engage right resources with the right questions, and how the important thinking and understanding, and how you can reach a consensus to resolve complex problems and rescue your project. All right, if there is no question, let's move on. Now, of course, when we are talking problem solving, you will see there is a bunch of articles, the systems and everything there. This is, yes, it is a basic. The good problem solving practice have the following characteristics. See, you need to recognize the situation, and you do which you don't know much about it, and you have to bring to the right resources, information sources, subject matter experts to closest to the problem being experienced. Of course, you have to keep in mind that it is not about the best brains, but most of the appropriate brains you have to bring it. On that, remember that sometimes the consultants comes to you and they say that oh, this is the best solution on the market, and you think that, oh, this is great. If this is the best, I can implement this solution. Actually, no. You have to always look at what is the appropriate for you. It might be the best solution for the majority, but it's important to get the actually best fitting solution for you. Is the problem solving same? When you are calling to resources, it is important to bring the most appropriate brains on the call. And of course, information generated made should be visible to everyone, whoever arrives, and everyone should be on the same level with you. Okay. Now, this is basic, but what do you do if it's a complex problem? You see, this is the key here, because as I said at the beginning, if there is a complex problem and think about the project is halted due to this problem, what do you do? Just calling to people, asking to people, that you might be running on the wrong field, nothing related to the problem. You will just lose the time. And you cannot close the project and go home, I'm assuming, and or just leave it and hoping it will resolve itself. This is another approach that we see most of the time. Okay, or get the help, fix it with very expensive solution. But actually, the idea is, I want you to imagine that value you will add when you have a method that could be utilized by all stakeholders to tackle such a complex problem. You see, that's why actually I am going to introduce you a method that is actually established about 40, 50 years ago. Because we need a methodological problem-solving approach that it applies to every complex problem. Otherwise, every additional resource you call into to resolve the problem will increase the cost of your project. Every delay will extend the solution time of the problem. Okay, that's why let's go. The side note here that, as you can see, the more time you add it to the problem-solving process, you will be losing money, and it is going to cost you more. That's why our goal is to actually find the right resources and establish as a standard methodology that you can apply to any complex problem situation. Okay. It is here that on my screen you are seeing that actually one of the founders, Charles Kapner, he came up with this idea. He said, the resources and the process, both is equally important. You have to have a right resource. If you cannot solve the problem, it means you don't have the right person in the room with the information. And then basing on this, he with his partner, Matt Fourier, they established this method. And they established this method based on the divergent and convergent thinking. Now you may start to hear this is the divergent thinking, convergent thinking. This is actually is not a new concept. It is quite an old concept, and it is very easy that it helps you to actually organize your thoughts. Okay. Divergent thinking involves breaking down a given problem. The aim of doing this is to get insight into the various aspects of the problem. This process is spontaneous and helps to generate different ideas for the problem quickly. It means you are actually gathering the factuals, all the facts related to this problem. You are opening. That's why when you look at the diamond, to one side you start with 0, then you are expanding because you are gathering the data related. You may gather a bunch of data. And the idea is when you move to convergent thinking stage, okay, you are going to organize your ideas and the information gathered during divergent thinking process to reach the correct solution. Okay, that's why at the beginning we are thinking out of the box. And then when we have the enough information, the factual snapshot, with the right the subject matter expert, we are starting analyzing the data and then reaching the conclusion. Okay. Kapner and Fourier method provides this approach for all the root cause analysis approaches. You know, that's why, again, you can apply this thinking style to when you are gathering information and organizing the information, analyzing the information. The idea is when you are analyzing the information, you cannot expand. You have to stop thinking outside of the box. Now you have to look at it, what information you have, and then with your help, with your SMEs, you have to reach the conclusion. Are we clear this space? I don't see any hands or anything. If we are okay, I will continue introducing to their method. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see any questions yet.
Okay, great. All right. Now, what they thought about it, actually, they said there is a give and take 5 project challenges we typically face, you know, on our projects. Those challenges, situations are, you know, we may have many issues and not know actually how to proceed, or we might have an issue, it's like an ill-defined issue without any clear concept what is involved. It's so vague, generic, you know. Or we may see some deviation from the main, you know, like there is some discrepancy between the requirements and what we are delivering. Okay. Or that's, you know, the approach that how we can find the solution. Because the solution we are looking is the effective solution, best fitting solution to our organization. We want to have innovative actions that we can deploy, implement easily in our organizations, okay? And ensure that the same problem doesn't have occur again. And most of the time, what we missed actually doing the risk assessment, okay? They said whatever the situation, even when you know the solution, you still need to do the risk analysis. Now, how we can do this easily? That's the whole idea. And also what I like in this methodology is that you do not need to follow each approach step by step. You see, you may have only one major problem. Then you do not need to exercise the first approach. There's nothing to prioritize. You have a problem. And maybe actually you already found the cause of the problem. But the impacts are so broader, you don't know actually how to resolve this, how to reach the solution. Then you can jump actually the thinking wise or the solution wise, wherever that you feel. But again, even if you have a solution, it is good to look at the risk. That's why they come up with these tools, working with each situations. And that's what they call it, the Pareto-wise, thinking-wise, Causewise. That's why, because these are their tools name. Of course, I mean, we have, less than half an hour here. We are not going to look at the tools, and so how we designed this presentation. Actually, we'll teach you what is the most important question to ask on this situation and how to identify which situation you are in. Okay. You see, situation as identified, say problems with no clear direction, how to proceed. You don't know this. And for what is the common indicators for this? You start missing deadlines, but it's small misses, it's everywhere. Overspending, but it's not in one chunk. It is overspending and every, couple of different items. There is a scope creep is happening. It's not, may not be exactly the scope creep. It might be because of the, the requirements actually missed some major functionalities. And of course, when the issues arises, what's happened? The relationship starts to, to take toll on it. And you are not making any headway. If you are in this situation, actually, it means you may have a couple of problems and you don't know how to deal with these problems. And what we are recommending here to ask, when you have the right resources in the room, ask this team to this question, okay? Which problem, when resolved, would address most of the issues we are dealing with it right now? Because we have to find the major issue, okay? Which one is the key core issue we can resolve? Because idea is, write it down, all the issues. Remember that we were talking about divergent, convergent thinking? That's why this is the divergent thinking process. We are trying to, list all the issues on one page to look for the obvious cause and effect relationship, using the inputs from all affected stakeholders, the subject matter experts. And using this, we need to find the real cause. Because finding the real cause of the core issue will allow us to focus on underlying reasons, okay? Will help us to facilitate consensus on priority issues, diffuse conflict on problem situation, and it will help you to get everyone on the same page. This is the key. And what these questions help you may think that, yeah, I always ask these questions. But you see, if you are working in a team environment, having this method, the questions identified prior to even the problem arise, will help you, because you will say, if the problem arises, we are going to use these methods. We will have the related subject matter expert in a room, and we will start, depends on the situation, either priority question, we will ask those questions. Then there is no BS. There is no, that they cannot say, oh, because you are asking me, you didn't ask to him, or, why you are asking this question. This is our methodology. This is what we are going to use. You need everyone to answer. To get the answer, we also recommend using some of the other tools that is in our toolbox, like 5 whys, fishbone diagram, using to prioritizing the problem or during the solution. You can use all other tools and techniques is available to us getting that, but the idea is to ask question and find the right answer to this question. Once you identify what is this, your priority problem, then you move into the second idea. They call it thinking wise, because the idea actually don't do anything, think, okay? Because say that you define the problem very well, or you couldn't define the problem very well, or you know the problem, but it is quite vague, okay? There are, various interpretations about the problem, and it's very good feedback on this. Go ask the team members or the subject matter expert individually, or use the Delphi method to, let them to write what is the problem. if you get the response from everyone is in, they are talking about the different variations of the problem, then you have a problem. You see, then you have to go back to the start. Because if there is a problem and if everyone is clear, the answer will be the one problem. Otherwise, you will go on talking in circles. Everyone will be talking conceptually, in theory, everything is works, of course, or you will have the resources, subject matter expert confused about the situation, or they will think that it's too big to tackle or resolve this. And you will see the people are what you call the praying to it will go away or miracle will happen. Those jokes about it, the go step by step and then the cloud and then the miracle happens and everything resolved. You know that it doesn't happen. Okay, let's go. What is the key for this? Actually, the how you can determine the correct focus within a problem situation, asking the one simple question. How does the problem impact the end user? And how do stakeholders, end users, contribute to the problem? Yes, it is one question, but like two ends. You have to ask these questions, okay, to get standard. Because we believe, specificity is a king. You have to be specific. For any problem situation, problem needs to be clearly identified. It's very similar for risk. You may know or remember from your training. We teach actually how to write a risk. If this happens, this could happen. Problem is the same. This happened, of course, in the problem situation is not a risk anymore. It happened. It is, you see the effects, but you don't know the cause. Okay, that's why we have to clearly identify the underlying reasons. That's because if we don't know this, everyone will be focusing on something wrong, okay? And everyone needs to understand the problem situation. And then if we go step by step, you see, we can get the agreement also. What are the flash or the urgent key issues? And get agreement on the next steps. And also understand, depends again the project you are working. If it is a large project, you may have a couple of, but it's always when you identify the problem, even you have a couple of problems, then the team splits. You have to tackle, and if it is the same team, you have to choose which one to go first. That's why the prioritization is important. At the end, after the thinking wise, you may go back to priority wise, again, ask saying that if we fix this problem, which one will resolve the most of the problems? And always remember the Pareto Rules, the 80 to 20, 20 to 80 will work. If you fix the 80% of the problem, it will help you to resolve the, but I said, sorry, 20% of the problem, and it will help you to resolve the 80% of the problems, okay? That's why this is you are looking. Solving one problem will resolve a bunch of other small problems, and then you can continue. All right, are we clear on this? Because we are moving to the next one. This is the Causewise, okay? Here, actually, we are trying to find the cause. What are the negative behaviors experienced when you are trying to find the root cause? Most of the time, you see, this is a cause. Now, someone think that they are going to get the blame. That's why the pointing fingers, playing the blame game starts. And it may take long time to get to the bottom of an issue. And no one is answering the correct answers, and also no one wants to take the responsibility about the correct answer. And you may not know always, who to talk, and then more people might involve because people, they don't want to take the responsibility by themselves. But that's why this is very easy. As I said, if you at the beginning of the project, when you have the meet with your team, doing the orientation, how you are going to manage and what is the, you put it, we are going to use this methodology, and so you identify those things. If the problem arises, we are going to resolve this way. We will call these people related to the problem only, and only we will have these people, structure in place, and we will ask certain questions. All right. The idea is not to try to blame anyone or anything. Our idea is to resolve the problem as soon as possible. Okay. Now, what is the million-dollar question for this? Again, it is very simple. What steps or process specifically causes the problem? If, say, the X is the issue, the cause of, you think, problem, how it explains problem with ABC? Just you are using this as a template, and you are putting, every time someone says this might be the cause of problem, that's why it might be the measurement issue, it might be the internet issue, it might be the infrastructure issue, it might be the process issue. Then you are saying, if the process is the issue, or this step in that process is the true cause of the problem, but we are having all other problems, which this issue resolve the other problems. See, that's why it is a simple, you are in a room or, having webinar, and open the drawing tools and, say that, if this is a problem, how does it explain that the other issues? Okay. Because we are trying to identify the correct fault to be addressed quickly. All right. It is important to be clear. There is no vagueness here anymore, and everything has to be clear, and everyone should be in agreement in every step. Because if you don't get this when you are running these processes, at the end you will never get to approval. Okay, that's why ensure that all the teams follow the plan, identification to resolution, arrives at the problem first time, every time, more efficiently, because you are reaching, you see, the step by step and following a methodology. Using a systematic, orderly approach with the structured questions will help you reduce the problem. Okay, this is the key. All right, this is the Causewise, and then now you know the problem. You know what it caused the problem. Then okay, now we are in the, let's find the solution. Are we good so far? Any question, Tavio? Tavio, you are mute.
Sorry, I was mute. Yeah, there's a question from Jose.
Yes.
It says that, are these tools applicable to any kind of, sorry, there's an icon blocking my view.
Oh, okay. Any problems? If you are asking any situation, technology problems, if you are working in IT, if your organization is using the ITIL process, actually this is embedded with the Kepner and Fourier has a model for the ITIL. It is.
Okay. His question is that, are these tools applicable to any kind of project? Yes. What about construction projects? Why not?
Yes.
You have practical example where this tool was used in a construction project?
I don't have experience with the construction project, but as you see, I give the example from the Mars orbiter, and also I know another case study we use actually during the training is the British Airways was having the luggage problems, that they are losing the luggages, and the issue bringing the right resources. That's why I believe, even if it's construction project, as long as you have the right resources. In the British Airways case, actually the right resource was the luggage handler, because of course, because they implemented the software, scanned the luggages barcode over there, technology was dealing with problem. And when the team said no, because the start point there is a luggage handlers, and the people who puts the luggage on the carrier when you do your checking, and everyone, the representative of those people, should be involved in the problem solving. And they found it. That was the battery in the hand scanner that luggage handler uses, when they, battery starts to finish, comes to end of life, that they were losing to data. You see, this kind of stuff, when you have the right resources, but for this, you have to look at the whole process, where it starts. That's why I believe you can apply to construction as well. Why you are having this problem, the concrete is not holding, or something is bending. I'm not so familiar with, other than the house renovations, even that I didn't do. I did the project management of it for my house. But this is, if there is something, actually just ensure that you have the plumber, the electricians, the guy who puts the drywall, and representative of those people is in the room when you are discussing, and bringing everyone the same level is the second key. Okay, we don't assume that they know. That's why I always, say that even you are in the thinking wise, defining to clarifying the problem, before you do this, ask the people in the room or in your, the online environment, what is the problem? Let them, everyone, to write what they think is the problem, or tell you individually what they think is the problem. Everyone has to be in the same level. That's why. And then the all these other step to questions is applicable. I mean, you can use the 5 whys in construction projects, or the fishbone analysis, or any other tool, because you don't need the computers or anything. You can run those sessions anywhere. Okay, I hope I answered, but if you have a follow-up question, please put it over there. I'll continue with the solution-wise. Okay.
Thank you for the clarification from Jose.
Oh, okay. Thanks. So, yeah, okay. That's, again, you are working on a solution. It is not easy. You see, you have to ask the people. You will see that, because it is, then people are trying to take the responsibility. Again, you may not have the buy-in for the final solution, or you may have this senior person in the room. This is another point that you should be very careful. It's not just for problem solving, for every other things. If you have a mix and match group in the room, the senior executives and then the analyst is not going to open their mouth. Depends also senior executive, but most of the time this is the case. You can do the project updates, but you cannot run a workshop to find the solution. Okay, that's why ensure that whoever is in the room able to speak. And that's why your solution has to be systematic. And they might give you too much information, and also they might try to solve a bunch of other problems not related to problem. Now you may have a scope creep problems here when you are doing this. That's why it is important. Okay, and the $1,000,000 question here: which combination of actions would resolve most of the issues, identified issues? Because it helps you to align vested stakeholders from outside, creates a natural built-in approach, and achieve consensus buy-in, because they see the process all the way, and there is a systematic approach. That's why people like it. Okay. All right, I see the time actually flying, and I'll just move to the risk-wise. This is, no one wants to deal with the risk. We know that. And also sometimes they deal too much with risk, and you may have in the risk log, hundreds of items. Again, it's wrong. You may, in any given, forget the problem project, you cannot have hundreds of risk items. If you have 3 risk, maximum 10, that's enough. If you have hundreds of risk, you should close the project and go home, kind of. Just be ensured. When we talk about risk, we are not talking issues, we are not talking wish list or anything. It is, again, for the solution, Remember the convergent thinking? Now we are at the end. We are at the bottom. We are not thinking out of the box here. We are just looking to, you know, if we implement this solution, is it going to create any other residual risk here? That's we are looking. All right. And that's why, how to avoid future problems, you have to ask, what risk does this solution create? How can we mitigate this risk best? Okay, because again, be prepared. That's we are trying to reach here. Be prepared. Sometimes we will accept the risk. Remember, there is one of the options to accept the risk and continue, because there is no other solution or the situation doesn't allow you to implement anything else. We accept the risk, but we are aware of it. Now we document it. And if this happens, we know what to do. That's why it is always good to, when you find the solution, identify the risk. For me, this is the summary of the slides. I believe you should be able to download, will be available to you, and use this. What I summarize here, really, just take this stuff, remember which each step, and use. You don't need to attend the training. You don't need to do anything, because this is the best way to start initiating structural, methodological approach to resolve the problems. Okay? Key takeaways from this session. If there is a problem, and when you go to your executive, say that you have a structural approach to resolve if you have a problem, just leave it with me and I will get back to you. They will leave it to you alone. But if you say, we have a problem, but I don't know what the hell to do, then they will start to involve. Then you will have 20 people in a room, the mix, executives, and then the analysts, operators, and you will never get the result. That's why it helps you, this structure approach, okay? And it will help you to get the alignment and buy-in from your stakeholder sponsor. And you will get the agreement on the much faster, believe me, because you are tackling with the issues at the beginning. This is very similar, why we start to work on the Agile approach, because we want the end user to see what we are doing as soon as possible, that they can provide their feedback. You see, that's why you are not working alone. You are not, informing them this is the solution, but you are making to ensure that all the related parties involved, you have the buy-in from everyone. And it helps you it is going to help you to effectively and efficiently determine root cause and get team support. And it's always good to use the standard, proven structure questions for the successfully resolve the complex problems. Okay. All right. In 1 minute, what is next? Project Management 101, do not assume anything. Ask why question. Yes, they will not like it, but as I said at the beginning, if you tell them that you are going to use these tools, one of them 5 whys, it means you will ask them the why. When they say something, they will know it's not you are picking on them. This is the process you are doing. And how using the specifically phrased questions gets you the specific verified answers. Okay, that's why it is important. And of course, whenever you have the opportunity, align different views, be self-responsible, and have the difficult review meeting with all your participants. Okay.